So Dead 7 was released in 2016, and this is an Asylum film, so basically made for TV in the realm of sci-fi. The company, I mean, not science fiction. This is actually a Western, which is surprising because, for me anyway, I'm not the biggest fan of Westerns, but I am a huge fan of zombie films, and that includes the B movies, such as this one. I discovered this film a few years ago, and what sold me was my sheer curiosity on a zombie western starring boy band members. You have basically a group of guys from NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and one from 98 Degrees and one from O Town getting together and making a zombie movie, which was Nick Carter's idea. Why? Uh, are boy band members zombie fans? I never connected the two in my entire life, but apparently this is an idea by Nick Carter. He wrote the story. At least it says a story by Nick Carter. This was written by a guy named Sawyer Perry, and this was directed by Danny Rowe, if that's how you pronounce his last name. And basically, it's a take on the magnificent. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. The Magnificent Seven, which was also a take from Seven Samurai, and this is the Asylum version of the Magnificent Seven, which they turned into the Magnificent Dead Seven. This also has Deborah Wilson in it. Deborah Wilson is famous for Mad TV, and that's how I remember Deborah Wilson. Recently, funny enough, I watched this documentary streaming called Call Me Miss Cleo, and it's basically a documentary on the classic 90s psychic that was always on TV named Miss Cleo. Deborah Wilson was in this documentary, and she is hilarious, so I'm glad she still has a career going, and she's still a comedian, and she's always been funny, and she continues to be funny, and I had forgotten that she was in here recently viewing this to make this review. But she plays a woman named Apocalypta, and she is the villain of the film. And over the top is an understatement when it comes to her performance. I mean, she does exactly what she was told to do, I'm guessing, and she delivers villain like no tomorrow. like it's her last performance on Earth. Like there's not a single frame, I think, where she's not like, ugh. She's so funny. She portrays this accent. She speaks in a different language too. I'm assuming the language is made up. But she speaks this foreign African style language with this villainness to it that she continues to be so like malicious, and like her face, and she looks like very voodoo-ish, and basically her character is controlling the zombies. Essentially, she wants to start a zombie army. Getting into the plot, there's not much to it, honestly. It's like the Magnificent Seven. They gather a bunch of guys to protect this zombie-ridden land, pretty much, post-apocalyptic America. And this woman named Apocalypta, like I said, wants to collect zombies and put them together, and either give people a choice: join the undead, or work for her as a, I don't know, rebel rogue person starting a new revolution. Not a lot is explained in this film. And then you have the Dead Seven, or the Magnificent Dead Seven, trying to save this town called Desert Springs. So the whole film is these bunch of guys, all members of boy bands, gathering together and going all Western style and trying to save humanity from this evil Apocalypta who's trying to start an army of the undead. Um, it's a doozy. So it starts with a zombie invasion. One of Apocalypta's main henchmen is this guy named Johnny, and Johnny is played by AJ from Backstreet Boys, I'm pretty sure. And he is the villain. He wears like clown makeup all the time. He portrays this weird ass accent. It's like a mix between an American accent, a British accent, and a Southern accent. It's very, very strange. His character is over the top. Another one. He has this like sadistic clown laugh, and he's bringing in this horde of zombies like he's riding on a horse. He brings them into town, and then there's this like shootout with zombies. There's a scene where these two hot chicks are just standing there and they're about to be eaten, and then here comes, I think it's not Nick, but some guy comes on a motorcycle and then shoots the zombies, and the chicks get sprayed in slow motion with blood, and I'm assuming it's supposed to be suggesting something sexual, but they just get sprayed and then the guy just drives off and they're just sitting there like all drenched in blood. It's suggestive and kind of obvious. So the mayor of the town, who's played by Chris, I just put first names down. I'm really not going to put last names for these band members. This guy named Chris, I'm pretty sure he's from NSYNC. He plays the mayor of the town. They capture Johnny and they take him into jail. And Johnny has the easiest escape of life. Like, he's put in this prison cell, and at night this other guy comes to break him out, and he comes from like the outside of the sheriff's station or whatever, and basically destroys the wall with an axe. And then Johnny just pieces out. They both walk off. There's a scene where Johnny, I think he pretty much kidnaps this little boy who's being taken care of by the mayor of the town, and he drugs him or something. He takes him along with him. Georgie is his name. I wonder if that's a nod to It, now that I think about it, but probably not. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. There's a bunch of hot chicks in this movie. There's one named Daisy. She's, a gunslinging badass. There is this one girl who's kind of a main character, I would say. Her name is Cyrene, and she gives a little bit of a backstory to how this virus took place. The zombies are all called copperheads in this film. That's like the name of the undead. They call them copperheads. And the reason is this started from miners, basically, like a mining town. And these miners would go down and dig, and then this woman, Cyrene's grandfather, I'm pretty sure, was the first to turn. And then this virus came out of the mines, and that's how the post-apocalyptic zombie world came about. What was in the mines to infect these people, it's not explained at all. Cyrene is the most hilarious hippie that you can get. She has like her face painted like Indian style, and she'll put the undead as, what does she call them in this movie? She gives them sky burials. So basically the crows can eat the dead zombies, and then they can return to the circle or something. Like, she gives this monotone speech, and it's supposed to sound completely like symbolic and mystical and spiritual, but it just sounds so ridiculous. I'm telling you, this film literally feels like a parody of something. A zombie. It's not even a zombie comedy. It's literally a parody. It's like everything about this movie is parodying itself. That's the vibe that the whole film gives. It's really funny to see. It is action packed. There are some cool characters. Like, it's a great background movie, you could say, if you like mindless zombie action. There's this character named Whiskey Joe, and he's played by Joey from NSYNC, if I'm not mistaken. And Whiskey Joe is a very funny character. He's a gunslinging, whiskey drinking, rogue cowboy kind of thing, and he has some really funny moments. There's this part where he's in a whorehouse, and he's talking to the stripper about him having a flask of blood. So he has a flask of whiskey that he generally drinks whiskey from, and then he has a flask of blood in case he turns into a copperhead. What he's gonna do is, as soon as he smells the blood, he's gonna chug the flask of blood because he's like halfway turning, and then attached to the flask is a wire, and the wire is attached to a grenade. So basically, he's gonna take a flask of blood and blow himself up as well as whatever zombies are around him as his final like departure from the world. So you really put so much thought into this, and it actually comes around to the point where this happens, and it's as ridiculous as his story is. He literally like sniffs the blood and then takes a swig of blood from a flask and blows himself up. It's so stupid. There's this guy named Komodo, and Komodo is played by this actor or singer named Eric. I'm pretty sure he's from O-Town. And he's basically a ninja. So again, I guess, I don't even want to compare this. I feel like I'm committing a sin comparing this movie to Seven Samurai because there is no comparison other than Seven Samurai inspiring Magnificent Seven inspiring this. They're not even in the same universe of cinema. But Komodo is basically this stealth ninja, because he's on a roof and every fucking person can see him, but he's like, yeah, nobody can see him coming, and then he's there like it's daytime and he's not hidden whatsoever. There's a scene actually with Komodo too, where he's saying his final goodbye to his girlfriend named Trixie, and they're having this like romantic, like sad kind of goodbye moment before he departs to go take care of Apocalypta in the desert springs or whatever. And there's a zombie dying on the floor, and the zombie every once in a while keeps coming alive, so he'll like stick his sword into the zombie and then continue on with this romantic situation with Trixie, and then the zombie will come back and he'll do it again, and then Trixie does the same thing. Oh man, it's a hoot. There's a scene at the end too where him and Trixie, he kisses her, of course, so we're going to this whole zombie movie trope where somebody kisses somebody where they're not supposed to, and Trixie ends up biting his lip, and then he turns, and that's like their finale. The whorehouse situation too is really funny with the way it plays out, including Whiskey Joe. But the leader of the whorehouse takes one of the members and like throws them into the room with what he thinks is a prostitute, but it's actually a zombie tied to the bed, and then he's taken out. So they have a whole ambush situation like that, which comes out of nowhere and again is not really explained. Teeth are very valuable in this film. So zombie teeth or copperhead teeth are collected and usually worn around people's necks. But there are some people who also take living people's teeth, and apparently they're more valuable for reasons unknown. And there is a scene where the Magnificent Seven are going through the desert, and then there's these two guys randomly pulling teeth from this guy who's not infected. And they look, and they're not noticed. So these two guys are pulling teeth, and these two guys don't notice the Magnificent Seven. So they keep on walking, and you have this whole torture scene where this poor guy is getting teeth ripped out of his mouth. And then the scene ends, and the Magnificent Seven keep going, and nothing happens. So that scene is completely for nothing, other than shock value, I guess. And the final like climatic battle is pretty funny with Apocalypta as well, and AJ, or Johnny is his name in the film. Apocalyptica, like I said, she's Deborah Wilson takes this character to 11. She bites people even though she's not a zombie. She'll feed the undead. There's this one scene at the beginning where she's feeding a zombie a heart, and it's practical at least, but it doesn't look like a fucking heart. It looks like a fucking fruit or something. It's really, really ridiculous. What else does this chick do? While she's feeding them too, she literally will put her hand like this close to a zombie's mouth. Why isn't the zombie eating her arm? Like, just they don't want to eat her. They just want to eat dead flesh that she's serving them, I guess. Um, yeah, it's 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 interesting to say the least. Yeah, the like I said, the lure with the mining town and everything is so half explained, and not that anybody really cares with a film like this, but I just like how you get this character that they're portraying as if they're supposed to be so like intelligent, not intelligent, but know everything that's going on, like so mystical, and they deliver nothing to the story. So, all in all, the best thing about this film is the zombie action, really. Like, you get some cool zombie action scenes. A tequila shot of nostalgia. Within moments, life just gets a little better. I guess that's semi accurate. It's Young Guns meets The Walking Dead. Not really. Riddled with bullets and splattered by pounds of gore. Yeah, you can give it that. You can give it that. And larger than life? Nah, I wouldn't go with larger than life either, but what else can I say? It's a fucking zombie movie with fucking boy band members. Okay, I'm just gonna end the review off on that note. Unless there's anything. Yeah, there is a cool, well, there is a cheesy cool quote at the end, which makes no sense because Nick playing Jack dies at the end in a sacrificial way, and he's just like, humanity, now that Apocalypta is defeated and Johnny is defeated, now humanity has a chance to rest in death. Are you implying that humanity's done for? Extinct? Is that how we're ending things? Okay. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon. Stay tuned for that. Check out what's on the channel. Check out Dead 7 if you want to. And stay tuned for what's coming. And until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.